This is Blue Ivy Carter, born into power, born into fame, born into a legacy worth more than most countries. Her mother, Beyonce, the most awarded female artist of all time. Her father, Jay-Z, a billionaire, music legend, and business mogul. She didn't enter the world quietly. She entered it like royalty. January 7th, 2012, New York's Lenox Hill Hospital. It wasn't a hospital that night. It was a fortress. Whole wings were cleared. Patients were relocated. Some families said they were kicked out mid-care. Doctors were silenced. Security was everywhere. Cameras were turned off. Curtains closed. Why? Because the baby arriving wasn't just a baby. She was already somebody. Before she could open her eyes, she was a headline. Before she could speak, the world was already speaking about her. There were no grainy first baby photos, no waiting for a magazine deal, just rumors, press chaos, and the quiet sound of security boots in hospital halls. And then she arrived, Blue Ivy Carter, the firstborn child of a music empire. She wasn't just born into fame, she was born into pressure. The kind of pressure most people never face. The kind of pressure that begins before your first birthday. She was less than a week old when her name trended worldwide. People didn't just want to know her name. They wanted to know her face, her clothes, her life. She had no idea. She was just a newborn. But to the world, she was already a brand, already a target, already someone to judge. By the time she turned 1, she had fans. She had haters. She had fake accounts pretending to be her. She didn't choose this life. She didn't sign up for the spotlight. But the spotlight didn't care. It chose her. And in that moment, before her first steps, before her first words, before her first memory, her life stopped being normal. It stopped being private. And most of all, it stopped being hers. Because when you're born into that kind of fame, your life doesn't start with a blank page. It starts with a camera flash and no way to hide. Blue Ivy's name was trademarked just days after she was born by her own parents, Beyonce and Jay-Z. They didn't wait. They locked it down fast. The trademark covered beauty products, toys, perfume, even event planning. Yes, before she could even say a word. Her name was protected like a billion-dollar brand. A woman who already had a business called Blue Ivy, a wedding planner, tried to keep her name, but Beyonce's legal team took her to court and won. The court said the name Blue Ivy Carter is not just a name. It's a public figure, a brand. Soon the internet started asking questions. Was the name a message? Born living under evil? Some thought so. Others said it's just smart business. Whatever it was, one thing was clear. At 1 week old, Blue Ivy wasn't just a baby. She was a business. And her childhood? It was already under contract. Blue Ivy wasn't just born into fame. She was born into full-on luxury. At age 7, she wore a diamond-encrusted dress worth $80,000. Most kids wear glitter. She wore real stones. At an art auction, she sat next to her parents. Then, she casually raised her own paddle. The price? $19,000. And yes, she bought the painting. By age 9, she had a Grammy. Not a toy one, a real golden Grammy. She won for her part in the music video, Brown Skin Girl. She flies on private jets, has a personal stylist, walks red carpets like it's normal. Her first birthday, that cost $200,000. There was a custom tiara made by Lorraine Schwartz, a giant birthday cake, a petting zoo in the backyard. Her stroller, gold accented, her high chair, covered in crystals. Some toddlers chew on Legos. Blue Ivy was teething on diamonds. She's not living like Beyonce. She's living with Beyonce. But even a diamond tiara can't protect you from TikTok. In 2023, something big happened. Blue Ivy stepped on stage with Beyonce. Not for a wave or a bow. She danced, live, front and center. It was part of the Renaissance World Tour. Crowds cheered. The internet exploded. Some people loved it. They said she was brave. They said she had stage presence. But others? They weren't so kind. Too stiff. She looks bored. Why is she even there? Clips went viral on TikTok. Millions of views. Millions of comments. Most are from adults, judging a child. Then came the comparisons. Another name started trending. Northwest. Kanye's daughter, also performing, also being watched, also being judged. People made it a battle. North has the energy. Blue has the class. Blue's smoother. North's more fun. It wasn't a talent show. It was a fan war, with two kids at the center. But Blue didn't back down. She came back the next night, then the next. She trained harder, danced sharper. You could see the difference. She didn't say a word. She let the dancing speak. At just 11 years old, Blue Ivy had to prove she deserved the spotlight, not because of who her parents are, but because of who she is. Because even kids don't get a break online. Blue Ivy didn't ask for cameras. She didn't ask for attention, but the world gave it to her anyway. From the moment she was born, people watched. Not just fans, strangers, bloggers, commenters. They talked about her hair, her clothes, her facial expressions, her mood. At just 4 years old, Blue went viral. Why? Because she yawned. Yes, a normal yawn. A photographer caught it, and the internet turned it into a meme. Unimpressed Ivy. Billionaire baby bored again. Some people thought it was funny, but behind the joke, I was a child just living life. She's had fan pages made about her, Reddit threads written about her looks. People online gave opinions about how she walks, talks, and even sits. The worst part? Grown-ups said cruel things. People made fun of her face, her body, her attitude, and she was still just a kid. It got so bad that even Michelle Obama had to step in. She defended Blue publicly, called out the hate, said what many were afraid to say, this is not okay, because no child deserves that. Not even one born to stars. And here's the wildest part. She's not even in high school yet. Blue Ivy is not just showing up for the cameras anymore. She's showing up with purpose. She's done more than walk red carpets. She's worked on campaigns. Ivy Park doesn't just put her in the clothes, it puts her in the credits. She's done voiceovers for brand launches. Her tone? Confident, clear, practiced. She's been seen reading scripts like a pro, not guessing, not giggling. Reading like someone raised on sound checks and stage lights. She's been listed on writing credits. Yes, writing. Before she's even entered high school. In the music world, that's not a small thing. That's the catalog. That's royalties. That's future ownership. This isn't just her parents giving her the spotlight. This is something being built, step by step, move by move. Sources say her every public moment is planned. Outfits, words, smiles, all intentional. Her team? It's not made up of babysitters. It's the same crew behind Beyonce's fashion empire. The same minds behind Ivy Park. These aren't just stylists and assistants. They're handlers, brand builders, gatekeepers. Blue isn't just learning how to look good. She's learning how to control the room, when to speak, when to stay silent, how to pose, how to own the lens. She's being trained to lead. Not later, soon. There are rumors in the industry, whispers, that her first full project is coming. A clothing line, a voice role, a solo song, maybe all three. People close to the family say it's all being timed. They don't want her rise to feel rushed, but they don't want her to miss the moment either. And here's the twist. Is this what she wants? Or is it what they want for her? Because when you're born to Beyonce, the world doesn't ask who you are. It tells you what you should be. It doesn't say, do what makes you happy. It says, don't mess up the legacy. Everyone's watching. Not because they think she'll fail, but because they expect greatness. And that pressure, it's silent, but it's everywhere. Will Blue Ivy create something that's hers? Her own music? Her own voice? Her own empire? Or will she forever be Beyonce's daughter, always in the shadow, never out of it? That's the story still being written. And the cameras, they're not turning off. They're just waiting for her next move. If you've made it all the way to the end, you're amazing. And you clearly care about these stories. So don't forget to hit that like button and maybe even subscribe if you want more deep dives just like this. Thanks for watching.